Have you ever noticed that the more you push your practice, the more your body starts acting strange and your mind gets more restless instead of more settled? Have you ever felt confused because you are chanting more, meditating longer, making bigger vows, doing more good deeds, yet relationships get tenser, work gets messier, and even small problems multiply like weeds? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about a problem that almost nobody admits out loud because it sounds embarrassing. You are doing the right things, yet the results feel wrong. You are becoming more diligent, yet you feel less supported. You are practicing harder, yet obstacles feel heavier. And the scary part is that it can make you doubt the path itself. It can make you think maybe you are not suited for spiritual practice. Maybe you have bad karma. Maybe you are just unlucky. I want you to take a slow breath and hold to ideas right away. First, real practice is not measured by how intense you are. It is measured by whether wisdom and compassion are growing and whether your life is becoming less harmful and more steady. Second, when practice becomes too fierce, it can secretly feed ego, fear, and craving, even while it looks holy on the outside. That is when you start seeing obstacles not because the Dharma is failing, but because your direction quietly drifted away from the middle way. Let me tell you a story that will feel uncomfortably familiar to many of you. There was a man I will call Aaron. Aaron was sincere, not a performer, not someone chasing a spiritual aesthetic. He came to practice because he was tired of suffering and tired of causing suffering. He had a temper that embarrassed him. He had anxiety that kept him awake. He had a constant sense that life was slipping through his hands. And deep down he had a quiet fear that if he did not change soon, he might lose the people he loved. So when he found a practice method, he grabbed it like a lifeline. At first it was beautiful. He started waking up early. He recited daily. He meditated longer than he ever had. He read teachings late into the night. He made vows with a trembling sincerity that almost made him cry. He promised to become kinder. He promised to be more patient. He promised to save others from suffering someday. He promised to purify karma. He promised to turn his life around. And for a short while something improved. He felt energized. He felt purposeful. He felt like he finally had a path. But then something started to shift in a way he did not expect. His sleep became lighter. He began waking up with his jaw tight. He would sit to meditate, and instead of feeling calm, he felt like a kettle about to boil. His thoughts got louder. His body started giving him signals. Strange tension in his chest. Random headaches. A stomach that felt cold, then hot, then tight. A sense of pressure behind the eyes. The kind of pressure that made him want to force his mind into silence as if silence was a command. He pushed harder. He extended his sessions. He added more chanting. He made stricter rules. He tried to be purer. He tried to be more disciplined. He began judging himself for every distraction. He began punishing himself for every moment of weakness. He started thinking that suffering was proof of progress. If it hurts, it must be working. Then the next wave arrived. He became easily irritated by people who interrupted his schedule. A family member asked for help and he felt anger because it disturbed his practice time. A friend wanted to talk and he felt impatient because the conversation was not spiritual enough. His partner complained that he felt distant and Aaron thought his partner was blocking his path. He started speaking in a tone that sounded calm, but carried a sharp superiority underneath. He did not see it at first because he was busy being diligent. Then life began throwing small obstacles at him like pebbles that somehow bruised like stones. At work he began making weird mistakes. Not because he was incompetent, but because his mind was tight and tired. He would forget simple details. He would misread messages. He would react too fast or freeze too long. Conflicts appeared that did not exist before. People misunderstood him. Opportunities slowed down. Money felt tighter. Unexpected expenses showed up. His home felt noisier. His family arguments increased. Even when he did good deeds, he felt oddly empty afterward. And that is when fear entered the practice. Aaron started thinking, maybe something is blocking me. Maybe my karmic creditors are coming. Maybe I am being tested. Maybe I need to practice even more to break through. So, he pushed again, and the more he pushed, the more his inner world felt like a battlefield. The path that once felt like refuge began feeling like pressure. The practice that was supposed to soften his heart began hardening it. One night after a particularly tense argument at home, he sat alone and realized something terrifying. He was becoming the kind of person he originally came here to stop being. He was more rigid, more reactive, more judgmental, more impatient, less warm, less present. But he was also chanting more than ever. That contradiction broke him open. The next day he went to see an older practitioner in his community. Not a flashy teacher, just someone with steady eyes. Someone whose presence felt like quiet strength. Aaron confessed everything. He said, "I am doing more practice than ever. Why is everything getting worse?" The older practitioner listened for a long time and then asked one simple question. "When you practice, what are you feeding?" Aaron did not understand. Feeding what? The older practitioner said, "Are you feeding awakening? Or are you feeding your fear? Are you feeding compassion? Or are you feeding your pride? Are you feeding wisdom? Or are you feeding your craving for control?" Aaron felt his chest tighten because he knew the answer, but he did not want to admit it. He was feeding fear. He was practicing as if practice was a weapon to force life into obedience. He was practicing as if chanting was a bargain. If I do enough, the universe must reward me. If I suffer enough, I must be purified. If I become strict enough, I will be safe. The older practitioner told him something that Aaron would never forget. When the mind becomes fierce, the practice can become another form of grasping. It looks like diligence, but it smells like desperation. And desperation creates obstacles because it is not aligned with the middle way. Then the older practitioner used an image so simple it made Aaron almost laugh. He said, "Imagine you want a plant to grow. You water it and give it sunlight. That is effort. But if you drown it in water every hour because you are anxious about growth, you will rot the roots. You will call it bad luck, but it is not bad luck. It is the consequence of too much force." Then he gave another image. He said, "If you tune a string too tight, it snaps. If you tune it too loose, it makes no sound." The right practice is a balanced tension, not laziness and not violence. Aaron sat in silence. The words hit him not as theory but as a mirror. He suddenly saw the hidden chain. His practice had become too tight. His mind was clenching around results, clenching around merit, clenching around progress, clenching around purity, clenching around an identity of being a diligent practitioner. And when the mind clenches, it becomes brittle. Brittle minds break easily. Brittle minds create conflict. Brittle minds drain the body. Brittle minds make the path feel heavy. The older practitioner continued with a tone that was firm but kind. He said, "True diligence has warmth. True effort has humility. True cultivation makes you gentler, not sharper. It makes you more patient, not more rushed. It makes you more compassionate, not more critical. If your practice is increasing irritation, it means the inner direction has drifted. The solution is not more intensity. The solution is to return to correct intention and correct balance." Aaron asked how. And this is where the teaching becomes practical for your daily life, because the answer was not mystical. The answer was grounded. The older practitioner said, "First, stop using practice to escape your emotions. Use practice to meet them wisely. If fear arises, do not chant to crush fear. Sit with fear and learn from it. If anger arises, do not meditate to pretend you are beyond anger. Feel the heat and practice patience. If craving arises, do not force yourself to be pure. Notice craving and practice non-attachment. That is real purification." Then he said something even more direct. He said, "Your practice is not only what you do on a cushion. Your practice is how you speak when you are tired, how you respond when you are criticized, how you treat family members who inconvenience you, how you handle money when nobody is watching, how you behave when you do not get your way." Aaron felt shame rising because he knew he had been using chanting as a substitute for daily kindness. He was polishing the outside while ignoring the roots. And the roots were still greed, anger, and confusion. Now I want to slow down here because this is the key point many people miss. When you practice too hard, the problem is rarely the number of hours. The problem is the hidden motivation. A fierce motivation usually hides one of these patterns. One pattern is the hunger for quick results. The mind wants proof. The mind wants a breakthrough. The mind wants to feel special. The mind wants to confirm that all this effort is paying off. That hunger becomes a subtle greed. And greed makes the mind restless. Another pattern is fear of being ordinary. The mind wants to escape its own shame by becoming a spiritual success story. That fear becomes a subtle pride. And pride makes the heart hard. Another pattern is self-punishment. The mind believes it must suffer to deserve peace. So it turns practice into a whip. That creates inner violence. And inner violence always leaks into relationships. Another pattern is bargaining. The mind treats practice like a transaction. I do this, and the universe owes me smoothness. That creates disappointment and resentment when life still brings difficulties. All of these motivations look like diligence, but they are not the same as right effort. Right effort in the Buddhist sense is not force. It is the steady cultivation of wholesome states and the steady abandonment of unwholesome states with wisdom and compassion. The older practitioner asked Aaron to do something that sounded almost too simple. He said, for the next week, shorten your formal practice but increase your daily practice. Keep a modest session in the morning. Keep a modest session in the evening. But during the day, practice one thing with full sincerity. Aaron asked, what one thing? The older practitioner said, practice not adding harm. Do not add harm with speech. Do not add harm with sarcasm. Do not add harm with impatience. Do not add harm with contempt. Do not add harm with hidden superiority. Not adding harm is a high-level practice. It requires awareness. It requires patience. It requires humility. It requires compassion. It purifies karma faster than chasing dramatic experiences. Aaron left feeling both relieved and confused. Relieved because someone finally gave him permission to stop punishing himself. Confused because he thought more hours automatically meant more progress. That night he sat to meditate and he tried something new. He did not try to force silence. He did not try to chase a special state. He simply watched the mind like watching weather. Thoughts came. Judgments came. Fear came. Restlessness came. And for the first time he did not treat them as enemies. He treated them as visitors. He breathed in, let them pass. When he felt the urge to tighten, he relaxed his shoulders. When he felt the urge to force, he softened his belly. He returned to the body. He returned to the breath. He returned to the present moment. He realized that his old practice was like trying to hold the ocean still with his hands. Now he was learning to be the shore. The waves still came, but the shore did not chase them. Over the next days, he tested the daily practice the older practitioner gave him. At breakfast, a family member said something that usually triggered him. He felt irritation rise. In the past, he would have corrected them sharply, then justified it with spiritual language. This time he paused. He asked himself what reduces suffering. He spoke more gently. He did not win the argument, but something more valuable happened. He did not plant poison. Later at work, someone criticized him. His ego rose instantly. He felt the urge to defend his competence. He remembered the teaching about feeding fear. He paused. He listened. He asked a clarifying question. He took what was useful and let go of the rest. That one pause prevented a conflict that would have lasted weeks. That is karma changing. In the evening, he felt tired and wanted to prove he was diligent. The old impulse said, do a longer session. Show yourself you are serious. He noticed that Impulson saw it clearly. It was not devotion. It was insecurity. So he did a shorter session with more sincerity. Then he went to sleep earlier. That night he slept deeper than he had in months. Not because he was lazy, because he stopped whipping the nervous system. This is a huge point. Some obstacles appear because your body cannot carry the intensity you are forcing. If the body is exhausted, the mind cannot stabilize. If the mind cannot stabilize, you will become more reactive. And if you become more reactive, you will create more conflicts. And then you call it obstacles from outside. Sometimes the obstacle is simply imbalance inside. Now let me take you deeper into why practicing too hard can create the exact opposite of what you want. When the mind is striving, it often tightens around identity. I am a practitioner. I am diligent. I am pure. I am more serious than others. My method is correct. My vows are bigger. My discipline is stronger. That identity is subtle ego. And ego creates separation. Separation creates comparison. Comparison creates pride or shame. Pride creates harshness. Shame creates defensiveness. Defensiveness creates conflict. So even if you meditate for hours, you will still suffer because you are feeding the roots of suffering. In Buddhist teaching, the path is a path of dissolving ego, clinging, not decorating it. If you use practice to decorate ego, then practice becomes another attachment. And attachment always produces fear of loss. Fear of losing progress. Fear of losing purity. Fear of losing discipline. Fear of losing spiritual status. That fear itself is an obstacle. Now I want to share another story because Aaron is one face of this problem, but many people experience it in different shapes. There was a woman I will call Mina. Mina was the kind of person who loved self-improvement. She was strong-minded. When she decided to change, she went all in. She could follow a strict schedule for months. She could fast. She could wake early. She could do intense retreats. When she discovered a practice method, she did what she always did. She pushed the body and pushed the mind. She started sitting for long sessions even when her knees screamed. She started sleeping fewer hours to wake earlier. She started reciting while driving, while walking, or cooking. She filled every empty space with practice because she believed empty space was waste. At first she felt powerful. Then she started feeling strange. Her heart raced at random times. Her digestion became unstable. Her mood swung quickly. She became overly sensitive to noise. She became emotionally sharp with people around her. She told herself it was purification. But there was a hidden truth. She was burning out. Burnout is not only physical. Burnout is spiritual too. When the mind is exhausted, it cannot hold compassion. It cannot hold patience. It becomes brittle. Mina began judging others. She became irritated when people talked about ordinary things. She started avoiding friends because they were not spiritual enough. She was becoming isolated and proud at the same time. A dangerous combination. Finally, she visited an elder teacher who looked at her and said something simple. "You are practicing like you are at war." Mina protested. "I am just diligent." The teacher said diligence is calm. Diligence is steady. What you have is struggle. Struggle is driven by fear and pride. You are fighting yourself. That is not the path. Then the teacher gave Mina a practice that sounded almost insulting. He told her to practice ordinary kindness more than extraordinary effort. He told her to cook for someone with patience, to listen to a family member without correcting them, to do one task slowly and fully present, to speak fewer words but with more warmth, to take care of her body as a form of respect. Mina did not want to hear it because the ego loves heroic effort more than quiet humility. But she tried, and slowly she returned to balance. This is how the middle way works. The middle way is not average. It is wise. It is the alignment of effort and compassion. Now I want you to see a deeper layer of this topic. Sometimes when you practice intensely and life gets rougher, it can also be because old karma is ripening, and you are noticing it more clearly. That is possible. But even then, the correct response is not panic and force. The correct response is steady practice with virtue and patience. If a storm comes and you start swinging wildly, you will injure yourself. But if a storm comes and you build a stable shelter, you will pass through. The stable shelter is not more intensity. It is more clarity. Clarity about intention. Clarity about ethics. Clarity about balance. Clarity about the mind that is grasping. Now, I want to bring this to you in the most practical way possible, because you might be listening and thinking, I am that person. I am practicing hardened, my life feels worse. What do I do? Start with one shift. Stop asking, how can I do more? Start asking, how can I practice correctly? Correctly means the practice grows wisdom and compassion. If your practice makes you more impatient with family, something is off. If your practice makes you speak with hidden contempt, something is off. If your practice makes you look down on others, something is off. If your practice makes you harsh with yourself, something is off. If your practice makes you chase experiences, something is off. This does not mean you quit. It means you adjust. The adjustment begins with returning to right view. Right view is seeing cause and effect clearly. If you plant harsh speech, you harvest conflict. If you plant pride, you harvest loneliness. If you plant impatience, you harvest obstacles. If you plant generosity, you harvest support. If you plant patience, you harvest steadiness. If you plant compassion, you harvest warmth. Right view also includes impermanence. Results cannot be forced. Emotions come and go. Life conditions rise and pass. The path is gradual. When you truly accept gradual cultivation, your mind relaxes. And when your mind relaxes, your practice becomes deeper. Now let me show you what happened to Aaron after a few months, because the end of the story is not perfect, but it is real. Aaron did not become a flawless practitioner. He still got triggered sometimes. He still had anxious days. He still had moments where he wanted to prove himself. But the difference was that he began to catch the moment sooner. He would catch the urge to force. He would catch the urge to compare. He would catch the urge to judge. He would catch the urge to punish himself. And when he caught it, he would breathe and soften. That softening was not weakness. It was wisdom. Because softening is how you stop feeding the very patterns that create suffering. As he softened, something else began to grow naturally. Compassion. He became more patient with family. He listened more. He apologized sooner. He stopped using spiritual language as a weapon. He became kinder in small daily moments. And then something subtle changed in his life. Conflicts reduced. People felt safer around him. Work became smoother because he was less reactive. He slept better because his nervous system was not constantly forced. His body symptoms eased because he stopped living in tension. Was life completely obstacle-free? No. But it was no longer full of unnecessary obstacles he created through tightness. That is the difference. Now I want to speak directly to you in a more personal voice, because some of you might be carrying a private guilt. You might be thinking, I started practice to become kinder, but I became more strict. I started practice to become calm, but I became more anxious. I started practice to reduce suffering, but I became harder to live with. If that is you, please hear this. That does not mean you are hopeless. It means you are human, and the ego is clever. The ego can use anything, even the Dharma, to protect itself. It can turn practice into identity. It can turn discipline into pride. It can turn vows into pressure. It can turn effort into violence. So do not be shocked. Just wake up. Awakening is not never making mistakes. Awakening is noticing and returning. Return to humility. Return to kindness. Return to balance. Return to the breath. Return to ethical living. Return to patience. Now let me give you a simple ending phrase you can remember when you feel yourself getting too fierce. Warm effort. Clear mind. If your effort is warm, your heart will not freeze. If your heart is soft, your wisdom will stay alive. If your mind is clear, your karma will change naturally. And remember, the middle way is not doing less. It is doing what actually works. It is possible to chant less and become more compassionate. It is possible to sit shorter and become more patient. It is possible to speak fewer teachings and live more truth. This is the path that produces real transformation. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced the strange feeling of practicing more while life feels more blocked? What signs showed up in your body, in your emotions, or in your relationships? Share your story in the comments. Your honesty might be the key that helps another person stop punishing themselves and return to balanced cultivation. If you want more long-form teachings like this, support the channel by subscribing, liking, and commenting so more people can find this work. And if you want to help keep these longer, deeper videos coming, consider becoming a member. Your support helps this channel stay steady and keep serving. Until next time, do not practice like you are at war. Practice like you are waking up. Warm efforts, oft heart, clear mind.
There comes a time when you realize you want something that belongs just to you. Something that brings comfort and keeps you connected to your inner world. Wall-crafted bracelet does exactly that. Quietly, softly, and consistently. If you felt drawn to any bracelet in this video, you'll find the purchase link in the video description and many more auctions in the channel's storefront. Because sometimes the smallest item can bring the biggest sense of peace.